our refrigerator is a high action area in our kitchen. And that means we are constantly moving things around to make them fit. Our goal with organizing any area is to, number one, make sure we can find the ingredients that we need so they don't get lost and not used before they spoil. Now, when it comes to your refrigerator, with all that being said, there are still certain ingredients that you will always have no matter what day of the year it is. And a few examples would be eggs, milk, butter, condiments, dressings, things like that, right? So they are going to have a set spot that is never going to move. So my milk always goes in the same place. Our orange juice always goes in the same place. Our eggs always go in the same place. Condiments, butters, and things like that. That means the rest of the area can fluctuate a bit, meaning your shelves. So you can have one shelf that is strictly for produce, fruit, veggies, all of the things produce. You can have one shelf that is strictly for leftovers. If your family tends to have a lot of leftovers like we do, putting them all in one shelf will help them get used up without them going bad. You can have a shelf just for drinks, and you can have a shelf just for meats. This is going to help you know exactly what goes where, and they can always move. So I have a few fridge tips that I want to share with you before we go over a couple more problems and solutions. So the first one is when you use bins, direction does matter. Okay, so I brought one of the bins out of my refrigerator. This is my bin. It says produce. And if I put it on my shelf this way, it's going to free up space around it, giving me more room to hold other items. So let's say I don't have a ton of produce this week, but there was a sale on bread. So I have a whole bunch of bread this week. So if I put my bin this way, it frees up all this space on my shelf, and I can put loaves of bread on that side. Now, if I put the bin this way, it frees up more space behind it. So if I have a lot of produce, I can put it inside of my bin, and I also have space behind the bin to stack extra produce. So one time there was a sale on cantaloupe, and I bought 2 cantaloupes that week. Well, if I put 2 cantaloupes in this produce bin, I'm not going to have room for much else. So I turned my bin sideways. All of my veggies could be put inside, and I had room to put 2 cantaloupes back behind it. So direction matters on your shelf. Now, another thing you want to remember is have more than one label. So this says produce, this says Jell-O and yogurt, and this says breads. So depending on what I'm using this basket for, it allows me to turn things in a way that I am always utilizing the refrigerator to hold exactly what I bought while I was at the grocery store. So hopefully that will help you out. All of my bins have more than one label, and I just created the labels as I needed them. So I started with produce, and then I added a label for breads because one day I needed the bin just for breads, and I add the labels as I need them. Don't pre-label the bins on different sides until it comes to a time when you need to add that label. That's going to save you a little bit of time and some money on those labels because they're not really that cheap. So don't make a label unless you need it. Okay, let's go over 2 more problems and solution scenarios for you in the refrigerator. So problem, you do meal plan subscriptions. Solution, create a bin just for the meal plan ingredients. Now, if you have a lot of ingredients and all the ingredients for one meal fills up one bin, make sure you have an extra label that says meal subscription and turn another bin sideways so you can put the meal subscription ingredients for that one meal in the other bin. Here's a tip for meal plan subscriptions. Put the recipe in the bin in your refrigerator with the ingredients, and then put an index card or a Post-it note on the outside of the bin. So you're going to put the recipe card inside of the bin with the ingredients that are perishable inside of the bin, and then put a Post-it note on the outside that says roasted chicken and broccolini. And then that way you know exactly what this bin is. So when it's time to cook, you just take the whole bin out, set it on the kitchen counter. You have everything you need to cook that meal. Okay, Next problem, you bought more for a big dinner and you bought more in 1 week because you have a lot of big dinners scheduled on your weekly meal plan. Like this week, because it's Easter week. If you're not watching this during Easter time, pick any holiday that's coming up and tuck it in there. But it's Easter week for us this week. So I have a lot of ingredients in my refrigerator right now, and it's a bit chaotic. So what I had to do was rearrange my shelves to give myself more room so I was able to fit everything inside. Most refrigerators, if not all, the shelves can be moved up or down. So you can move a shelf up, giving you more space below. You can move a shelf down, giving you more space above. You can temporarily remove drawers, giving you more shelf space. Even though you may be rearranging your refrigerator once a week or once a month, depending on how often you go shopping, it's imperative that you do so because this is a space that gets used often throughout the week. Okay. So I hope you got some great refrigerator tips. Remember, I'm going to put the link below for the new blog article that I just wrote on categories for organizing the food in your kitchen. Check it out because there are some great tips in there that are going to help you streamline where you store your food.